Good morning, everyone. Today, we will be discussing some of the key challenges currently facing Pupuk Kaltim, one of Indonesia's leading fertilizer producer. As we know, the agriculture sector is rapidly evolving, driven by fluctuating global markets, environmental imperatives, the growing need for sustainable practice. In 2023, Pupuk Kaltim faced a noticeable drop in revenue from not subsidized fertilizer due to volatile global prices. However, we will talk about that further after we discuss about the key point that we will talk uh, about the Pupuk Kaltim from Nurture Nature Group today. I'm Jessica Nanda Batiar, and there is also Lavena Laduri and Siti Khaironisa. In today's agenda, we will talk about the executive summary, problem analysis, challenges and objectives, financial analysis, internal and external analysis, VRIO analysis, and finally, proposed solution. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2023, Pupuk Kaltim um, faced a challenging year as a revenue from non-subsidized fertilizer sales declined significantly. The impact of market volatility and rising costs put pressure on the company's financial performance. It highlights the need for strategic adjustment to sustain and accelerate growth. To address these challenges, we propose a multifaceted strategy focused on four key areas. First, product diversification, market expansion, digitalization, and operational improvement. Each of these pillars is designed to unlock new opportunities, reduce dependence on traditional revenue streams, and enhance resilience. Our approach includes diversifying into adjacent chemical products to leverage Pupuk Kaltim existing expertise and infrastructure. Next, we will talk about the problem analysis in Pupuk Kaltim. Firstly, we see that Pupuk Kaltim revenue and profitability are declining due to volatile global prices, limiting its capacity to fund extensive in sustainability initiatives, right? Secondly, we talk about the environmental responsibility. Pupuk Kaltim depends on fossil fuel-based ammonia production, conflict with its decarbonization goals, raising concern about its ability to adapt environmental regulation. Thirdly, about farmer adoption. Low awareness among farmers about the biofertilizer and sustainable practices restrict PKT's ability to scale these products. Next, we will talk about the company's strategic challenges and goals. Firstly, the market dependency. We know that the Pupuk Kaltim declined the export prices in 2023. It means that they show the challenge associated with the revenue dependency, right? The secondly, the sustainability and green industry initiatives, which impact on the investment itself. The thirdly is the digital transformation, which also impact in the smart production system that could improve the product market. Now, come to the financial analysis. Before we talk further about the aspect of the financial analysis, we need to see the revenue. First, the COGS and the operating expenses analysis. We know that the Pupuk Kaltim financial performance declined in 2023, right? And it also happened in the COGS as well. Between the 2022 and the 2023, they dropped 5.9% from 17 billion and to 16 trillion. For the operating expenses, they try to exclude the cost in COGS, that it means that the Pupuk Kaltim sales the expenses have risen by 11.8% from 459 billion to 513 billion. The increase due to the marketing and distribution effort to boost demand. From this point on, analysis from the internal and also the financial analysis, we can conclude to the further analysis on how we can see in the internal analysis that will be explained by Lavena Laduri. Thank you.
All right, now we will do the internal analysis. In here, we are using the SWOT analysis. For the strength, Pupuk-Altim has large production capacity with advanced production, and then also have diverse product portfolio, strong ESG commitment, and innovation in sustainable product. Weaknesses from Pupuk-Altim, they are to dependency on the commodity market, also have decline in revenue due to the market volatility and limited product diversification. And the opportunity, they could doing digital transformation by investing in predictive analytics and smart manufacturing. Also, Pupuk-Altim biofertilizer product and green ammonia project have prospect due to the growing need for sustainable agriculture. And they also need to have their threats where the rising global supply of ammonia and urea affecting prices, and also regulatory and environmental pressure to reduce carbon footprint and financial dependency on fluctuating fertilizer prices. And next, this is the FRIO analysis, where there is a bio-based fertilizer, and this kind of valuable is yes, rare yes, inimitable moderate, organized yes, and the competitive advantage is sustained. Large production capacity also have the competitive advantage as the temporary, but no in rare and inimitable. And their technology Preci-Palm app have all the variable yes and have sustained competitive advantage. And their subsidy also have no in rare and inimitable and temporary competitive advantage. And distribution network, they have no in rare and inimitable and have competitive parity. And last, the sustainability initiative, they have moderate in inimitable and yes in valuable, rare, and organized, also sustain competitive advantage. Next is external analysis. We use the PESTEL analysis. The political is affected by the government policy because PKT is a state-owned enterprise. And the economical, PKT face challenges from fluctuating global fertilizer prices. And for the social, PKT is engaged in supporting local community and farmers. And the next is technological. PKT also established their Preci-Palm app for oil palm nutrient monitoring. And in environmental, they emphasize their sustainability through various initiatives from biofertilizer like EcoVert and Biotara. And in legal, Pupuk-Altim follow strict governance, risk management, and procurement policy since they are the state-owned enterprise. And next, the consumer analysis, we focus on market segmentation, farmer preferences and challenges, also shift in demand. And in social analysis, there are farmer engagement, local supplier network.
So next is we provide three main solutions. First is smart manufacturing and predictive maintenance. Two, precision agriculture platform, and also blockchain for supply chain transparency. This is our operation strategy through diversification using sustainable and efficient fertilizing. The detail is we are discussing next slide. So we highlight Minapadi X agroforestry as our main highlight method of farming because it has low impact in emission. Next. It produces lower greenhouse gas emission rather than chemical fertilizer. How we implement it? We are creating platform that provides supports the integration of Internet of Things device to automate irrigation, fertilization, and land condition monitoring with an application that integrates data from the soil, weather, and planet, so fertilizing can be applied more timely and in the right amounts for avoiding waste. This is our return on investment. So we have cost for development and design, IoT sensor integration, server and infrastructure cloud, development maintenance team, and total initial cost is 202 million. And we are also doing collaboration with Generasi Petani Milenial, which is our target market for pilot project on this nature platform launching trial. Also with Badan Pengembangan Sumber Daya Manusia Provinsi Jawa Barat on giving training about padi and agroforestry method farming. And next is with land industry collaborating to produce sensors to provide farmers with real-time alerts about when to apply fertilizer and the optimal quantities needed. And last but not least is with Telkom Indonesia collaborating in development application that support the integration of Internet of Things to automate irrigation, fertilization, and land condition monitoring. Thank you.